What is up, guys, and welcome to March Minifigure Madness. Today is Clone Trooper Tuesday, so today I'm going to be talking about a lot of different Clone Trooper variants that I have. Now, since I have so many of them, I can't review every single one of them. This week I'll be showing you my absolute favorites that I have, and next week I'll be showing you the rest of my favorites. Now, up first today is the Elite ARF Clone Trooper. I don't know too much about this Clone Trooper in particular. I do know the other Clone Trooper that he came with in the battle pack, and I will show that one off in a minute here. But one thing that's really interesting about this are all these details here on the helmet. They added so many different symbols and just small little details of like boxes and dots that it really makes it stand out in the collection. Because even other ones I have that have this same like helmet mold don't have this much detail paid attention to the helmet. So it's a really nice addition to see such a detailed print to the helmet. Now, as you can see, he does have the standard Clone Wars like chest piece. Main difference being that he has maroon arms, and the back is also the same. Now, one thing that I've heard a lot of complaints about with the Clone Wars minifigures in particular is the head. A lot of people say it looks really bad, and that it doesn't look like the characters at all, like it doesn't fit at all. Maybe just because I grew up with this being like the standard headpiece, that I don't think it looks that bad. It does look like maybe the slightest bit goofy, kind of like the rest of the Clone Wars ones. He does kind of have this like dead stare to him. It doesn't look a lot like the clones from the show, but honestly, you almost always have a helmet on with them especially when you're displaying them. So I never had any issue with it. Now, I mentioned that Clone Trooper came in a battle pack. Now, the figure that came along with it is definitely one of my favorites, and that is the ARC Trooper. It's simply based on a design, like a very specific design. I don't think that clone had a name, like it's not as recognizable as some of the other ones, so I think that might be why it's just called ARC Trooper. Now, as you can see, it has this nice maroon and like weird grayish blue sort of color tone to it. It has a very different chest piece from the rest. It keeps the waistband the same, but it has this like extra armor on the front and like some of these communicators and dots. And also it has leg printing. This is one of the few from this era that I remember having leg printing. It even has the printing on the toe, which I remember being so surprised that was a thing. I think this might have been one of my first minifigures that had the printing on the toes there. So to me, this was something super special. And this helmet is this awesome, nice mold. It came with a visor that I could put on as well, or just like this antenna, I guess. Personally, when I used to display it, I had the visor on because I think it makes him look cooler, but he is technically supposed to wear it like this, and this is the only minifigure I have that has the red version of these instead of a gray or a black. Now, another nice thing is that this waistband is actually like a cloth like cape material. It's not like some of the other ones I'll show you where it's a hard plastic. Same with these shoulder pads. These are the only ones I have of like cloth shoulder pads, or I think maybe even shoulder pads like this in general. And he does have this pack on the back that's supposed to be just some added detail for looks. I'm pretty sure underneath it's the same as the other clones. There might be some slight differences underneath this thing, but I'd have to pull up and take off the head and the capes and everything for that, and I don't really want to go through that much effort. So this is still one of my favorite Clone Troopers. The detail is super nice, and he has this bulky look to him, which works super well with this character. Now, since we're on the topic of ARC Troopers, the next one I'm going to talk about is Captain Rex. Now, this minifigure is pretty rare. I believe it only came in one actual set, and technically this is not exactly how it comes with the set. There is one piece that I unfortunately had to replace because I don't know where the original part went. Now, that piece is this waistband here. It's supposed to be the same gray as up here. I don't have it, unfortunately. Now, once again, the chest piece is the same. It's just blue arms. There is no leg printing this time, and he has these gray parts here instead of the black or the red. Now, this helmet is perfectly accurate to in this show. I love the print on it. It's super nice. It has a ton of detail. Even up on like this fin back here, it has a slight bit of gray. And of course, he has the antenna or the scope. I don't know exactly what it's called. And another thing about this is that it has a custom face. It's very similar to the other Clone Troopers. However, this time he has a slight bit of stubble. It's not super prevalent in the show if it's there, but it's in this minifigure, so we're going to talk about it. Now, this minifigure is super awesome. I love Captain Rex. He's probably my favorite Clone Trooper, so it's nice that I have at least a version of him. The next one I'm going to show you is Commander Wolf. Now, like I said, he does have this gray antenna, which the rest either have gray or black. This is the only one I have that has red back here. He has this nice, very grayish blue. Similar to the other one, it's a bit lighter of a color. than that one was, but it does have the same chest print just with different arms, and it does have its own custom leg printing, which is really nice that they paid attention to detail. Even though it's like covered up, they still went through and put it on there, which I always have to respect when they add detail where it doesn't always need to be, or you can't always see it. Now with the other one, this waistband was cloth. Now with this one, it is, like I said, this like hard plasticky material. Same with this part up here around the neck. Now personally, I kind of prefer when it's the cloth based off of its look. This was from the Clone Wars show, which everything has a sort of plasticky look to it. So I think it works for the character from the show, and it's not that big of a deal to me. Now it does use the Phase 1 clone helmet. It has like these 3 lines up here and this red dot on it. It does have this also really sick pattern to it with the gray. Not the absolute most detailed, but it's accurate to what he looks like, so I have nothing to complain about. Now one of the coolest things about this minifigure as well is the head. Commander Wolf has only one eye that has like the brown people, the other one is scarred. And as you can see, he has that here. The scar continues through his face and has like the white pupil. And he also has some stubble for a beard, which is also a nice detail. This headpiece is pretty sick. I love how it looks with this character. It's very nice. Now, on the topic of Commander Wolf, there's another clone that came in the same set that he came in called the Wolfpack clone. Now, this is just a clone under his command. It's not any specific clone, I don't think. But as you can see, it has the same leg printing and arms. Even though you couldn't see it on Commander Wolf, he did have this gray part to the top of his armor. So it is the same chest and leg piece as Commander Wolf was. And the helmet is noticeably different though. It has this awesome design of a wolf that goes across the two of them. It's a little hard to see because there's no printing down the center of it. But if you use your imagination, you can see that these two are two halves of the wolf's face. Now that helmet is super sick. I kind of wish that was Commander Wolf's helmet, honestly, but it doesn't really matter. And once again, he has the standard clone face. Now this one also came with a jetpack to go on it. It's just a simple white jetpack that you see on some of the Mandalorians. It's just white because he was one of the clone troopers. Now, the next 3 are all part of the 501st Legion, which is the Legion that Captain Rex here is a part of. So, first off, I'm just going to talk about the standard 501st Legion clone trooper. Now, this is definitely a more recent model, as you can see the difference in the helmet shape. And another way you can tell is the fact that there is always going to be these leg printings and toe printings for the clone. There have still not been any arm printing for any of the clones, at least that I have, which is a bit of a bummer, but honestly, I don't think the clones really need it, because it's just going to be all white anyways. And the back is pretty similar to the other ones. It is definitely a different print itself, but it still emulates a similar look. Now, the main difference between this one is because it wasn't part of the Clone Wars show, it has a different headpiece. I don't mind this headpiece at all. I think it works for the clones because they are supposed to be clones off of Jango Fett, and so these heads were kind of sort of modeled to look like Tamora Morrison, who plays Boba Fett nowadays, and Boba Fett's clone head is very similarly colored to this, and has similar facial features, just with some extra printing on it to make him look aged. I like how they're making the actual face of the clones look like the actual clone nowadays that they're based off of, so it gets a pass from me. Some people have been complaining about this, I think, but I don't mind it at all. Now, one that came with my 501st Legion clone trooper is the 501st Legion Jump Trooper. Now, as you can see, it is sort of similar. It has the same legs, however, this time the chest printing and helmet are different. This one has blue arms as opposed to having just the standard white arms. Instead of having the blue in the center of the minifigure here, it is on this top part instead. And the helmet has blue in the different areas, along with some red little dashes here and there. It's the same mold, just has a different blueprint. And the face is the same as well. Obviously, they're clones. I believe the back printing is also the same. And this one came with this very unique blue jetpack, which looks super awesome and really blends together with this minifigure. Now up next is a minifigure also from the 501st Legion, however, it's from a different group in the 501st, and that is Ahsoka's Division. Now as you can see, this has the exact same body and chest as the standard 501st Clone Trooper, however, this one has a different helmet that is designed to emulate the look of Ahsoka Tano with her orange skin and with her white sort of tattoos. Now this helmet looks super awesome. I absolutely love it. This is the only one that I have that has this orange to it. And personally, Ahsoka was always one of my favorites, so to see her have like her own clone division as well with like the custom helmet print is a super nice touch, and I love how this looks. So not too much to talk about besides the helmet with this one, but I do love how that helmet looks, so that's why it's one of my favorites. Now, the last one I'm going to be talking about today is the Airborne Clone Trooper. Now, this is one of my more recent Clone Troopers. Now, this one also is a relatively recent one. It came with the General Grievous Starfighter, the most recent one that came out. This has a different helmet piece than any other that I have. It has a more like bulbous sort of round look to it. It's not my favorite Clone Trooper helmet. I do like how it has like these sort of like scratches and dings on it along with the orange. Once again, it has this waistband that is this more clothy material, sort of like the ARC Trooper from earlier. And this chest print is insanely well done. There's so much detail that every time I come back and look at it, I find something new I didn't notice before. Like how one of the knee plates is orange and the other one isn't. I didn't even realize that. There's so much detail on the upper top here. There's so much detail on this chest. Even the sash that comes across continues into the back and everything, and the shoulder strap that comes over and down. It's so well detailed. I can't even imagine how long it took them to like come up with this look. It looks so sick, and it's badass as hell. And it's super badass. So that is all the Clone Troopers. That's everything for Clone Trooper Tuesday Part 1. I'll see you guys next Tuesday for Part 2.
Farted on the track. Farted. Oh, yeah. Yeah! We love that Dumpster Kid video. We all do! For more, like and subscribe. Hit it! Turn on the post notifications. Do it! Even when you're on vacation, you'll get...